Good evening and welcome. Thank you for coming. I'll call this meeting to order. This is our regular board meeting number 811, Lake Pend School District number 84. It's Tuesday, April 14th, 2026 at 5 p.m. And our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand and remove your hats. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I make a motion to adopt the agenda as published.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And first order of business, we have Farman Stidwell up for a presentation. We have Betsy Gillespie. Good evening.
Hi. Hi, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
I'm Betsy Gillespie. I'm the principal at Farman Stidwell. This is Ellen Wasser. She's the assistant principal. And I brought some of my friends from our life skills program and our 6th grade class today. And we're going to watch a quick video about the life skills program at Farman Stidwell first. And then you'll get to see some cool adaptive golf. And Gabrielle and Tilly are going to tell you a little bit about what happens in our programs at Farman Stidwell. So we'll start with that.
At Farman Stidwell Elementary School, inclusion is more than a goal. It is who we are. This year marks a record enrollment in our Life Skills program, with 42 incredible students learning, growing, and thriving each day in our school community. At the heart of this work is an extraordinary team of educators and support staff. Our 4 dedicated teachers, Ben Wimmer, Tori Grant, Kristen Storbo, and Melanie Pettingill, lead with compassion, expertise, and unwavering commitment to every child's success. Alongside them, 13 paraprofessionals provide daily support, encouragement, individualized care, helping students build confidence, independence, and making meaningful connections. Our students are also supported by all the therapists on site, working collaboratively to strengthen communication, language development, fine motor skills, gross motor skills, and adaptive living skills. Every day, these essential services are seamlessly integrated with functional academics and community-based learning experiences, ensuring students develop the skills that they need for success both inside and outside the classroom. Inclusion is evident in everything we do at Farman Stidwell. Our life skills classrooms are fully integrated into the life of our school, and many students spend time learning alongside their general education peers. Today, we are especially excited to highlight one of our most meaningful events. What began as the Little Star Olympics has now grown into Unified Stars. Led by physical therapist Erin McClure and our physical education teacher Raina Longstreet, the Unified Stars event creates a meaningful opportunity for students of all abilities to learn, play, and grow together. Today, you will hear directly from students who participated in this special event, as well as their peer support helpers who stood alongside them, encouraging, cheering, and learning together. Their voices and experiences are a reflection of what makes our school community so special. At Farman Stidwell, every child shines.
Hi, my name is Tilly Wassett, and I am in 6th grade, and I go to Farman Stidwell. I have been a peer helper for 2 years now, and it is when you are going to be a peer helper, you have to write why you want to be a peer helper, and then have a teacher like say like, yes, this student is okay to do it. So Also, after you get paired with the student who you're going to help, you can like meet with them, and then you also learn how to help them with their needs and with anything they need a little extra help on. And they said your name and then I forgot it. What's your name and what grade are you in?
My name is Gabriel and I'm in 5th grade.
What is your favorite part of Little Star Aerobics?
The bouncy house and golf.
Would you like to show the board members the poster you brought?
Yes. It's so big.
Here, you hold that up so you don't fall. And I'll hold this up. And let's walk along this way and show them, and then we'll show the audience. Yeah, so your face. And Gabriel made this poster.
Good job.
Let's go this way in front so we can show our audience. I know.
What's your name?
My name is Samson.
And how old are you?
I am 7 years old.
Why are you here?
Schedule Tuesday. I like the little stars in Olympics.
And what's your favorite event at the Little Star Olympics?
I like to play golf.
Would you like to demonstrate that?
Golf is fun.
I agree. Can you show us? Let's see it.
Gabriel's gonna have a picture of them.
You gonna give it a go, Gabriel?
You want this to his stuff?
Yeah.
We've all been there, Gabriel.
Do you have any questions for us? Oh, yeah.
I don't have any questions. Do you guys have any questions?
Great.
This is fantastic.
So awesome.
Thank you so much. You guys did great. Tilly, good job.
We'll invite you to our event. It's in, did we?
Yeah, when is
It's
it?
the 28th.
The 28th of May.
Okay.
It's the elementary.
Of May?
21st.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do it at the
Yeah,
high school as well.
and
Okay.
The week before, and it's a lot of fun.
Excellent.
Cool.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
share those. Sugar. Okay. Yeah, hop up front. Okay.
I can go to the front, sure, guys are up front.
Good job, Gabriel. Good job, Sam.
Sorry, you can have a little bit.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks, Dylan. Good job, you guys.
Thank you. Do you want to stand up?
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right, Sagal Elementary. Here.
Next up, we have Sagal Elementary.
We practice using our big voices,
Okay.
so I don't think we'll need it. Let's scooch down, scooch down, scooch down. Take, yeah. Each day want to kind of be able to see. And then Miss Karen, do you want to come over this way? Yes, you guys can kind of scooch in that direction too, like that. Okay, there we go. You're good now. I think we're good. You can see us all. Okay. This is Sagal Elementary presenting on principal majors, and we're presenting our school character dog and our 6th grade ambassadors. Oh, back. There you go.
I'm Madeline, I'm in 6th grade.
I'm Madeline Rust, and I'm in 6th grade. I'm Caitlin Turnbull, and I'm in 6th grade. I'm Madeline Bender, and I'm in 6th grade. Great. I'm Ray Lample, and I'm in 3rd grade. I'm Leslie Myers, and I'm in 3rd grade. I'm Sophia Colley, and I'm in 1st grade. I'm Jason Dutcher, and I'm in 2nd grade. I'm Zoe Travlicek, and I'm in 5th grade. I'm Tam Lincoln, I'm in kindergarten.
This is Tilly, and I'm Miss Karen, Tilly's handler.
Meet Tilly. Tilly is a friendly therapy dog who loves to help people feel better. Tilly's job is to bring comfort, happiness, and calm to the school. What does Tilly do? Tilly visits people who might be feeling sad, lonely, or scared. She listens quietly and offers a soft paw or a gentle hug. Tilly helps people relax and smile just by being there. How does Tilly help? Tilly's presence can lower stress and make people feel less worried. Petting Tilly can make your heart beat slower and your mood better. She helps kids and adults feel brave during tough times. Tilly teaches us about kindness and caring for others. Why I love Tilly so much is because she is sweet and kind. Tilly visits who how Tilly helps kids feel better. Tilly visits kids who might be feeling sad or worried. She offers comfort by sitting by with them. Kids feel happier and calmer when Tilly is around. This one time when I was missing my dad, Tilly comforted me. When Miss Smith asked if anybody went to the office, me and Kelly went up to the office and we read our stories to Tilly and sat there with her, and she made our mood better. See the 6th grade bachelors. What is a 6th grade ambassador? You are a helper and a leader at your school. You show kindness and respect to everyone. You help make your school a friendly and a safe place. How to apply for being an ambassador. You get your form from the office or your teacher, and you fill it out and say how you think you'd be a good fit for the position.
Who would you help out with that? You can outwardly feel welcome each other around, and you can dress up as a mascot for campus.
Ways you can help as an ambassador. You can assist teachers with classroom tasks or events and read with the littles. I was in Mr. Litchie's class, and as you can see up there, I was reading to the little kids on St. Patrick's Day. Like handing out the takeaways and showing them pictures. And you can, as you see, there's someone helping some students with a math test, and you can help them with lots of things and help them finish choosing class tasks for them. Ways you can help them as an ambassador. Check doors for school safety, clean handles for health. Walk around the school with a provided key from the office, and if any doors are unlocked, you lock them.
Working together as ambassadors. Being a 6th grade ambassador leader is both important and exciting. These skills are coming for the whole school. As one of the oldest students, you're a role model, helping younger students feel safe, included, and confident. It's cool because you're not just a student anymore. You're someone others look up to, whether you're welcoming new kids, helping at events, or showing them kindness and responsibility with them every day. It's a chance to go to leadership skills, make a real impact, and leave a positive mark on your school.
On behalf of Siegel Elementary,
Thanks for having us.
No? Pretty good presentation.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank
We better have a photo.
Okay.
And I know you guys don't like cookies, but what does Tilly get? The cookies are for Tilly. Sorry, Tilly.
All right, we may have to do some rows because there's quite a bit, so maybe if you guys want to step forward a little bit and then you guys switch back behind.
Okay, so little come take 2 steps forward. 1, 2, and then they can scooch behind.
I just wait till
Wait.
You can see over top. You're over now, right?
right there. Okay, everybody looks here. Right here, Tilly. That was great. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
You guys.
Eat all the cookies, try to get more back.
Have plenty for
It's not her, me. I'm old.
I'm really proud of you guys. Great. See you later.
Thanks, Jay. Good job.
All right, bye. Thank you. Good job.
Thanks, Jen. Yep.
Yeah, there you are.
Those are yours.
I'm just gonna sit with them. Miss Karen, can you take me for this?
All right, thank you guys. Just so you guys are aware, parents, if you are here for those presentations and want to bounce, we will not hold it against you. We're watching, we're taking notes.
And there's spots in front if anybody wants
Yep.
to fill it.
You guys need a place to sit, please come on forward. All right, next up, we have the counselor's Green Light to Shine report.
Hi, my name is Janae Moore. This is Miss Geraldine Meyer. We both work on the amazing counseling team at St. Mike's High School, and we feel honored and privileged to be able to present to you guys today. So we all know that the role of a school counselor is broad and encompasses many different responsibilities, but our main goal and focus is to really increase access, life readiness, and academic success for all students. But today, instead of going over all those responsibilities, we thought we'd focus on a few green lights to shine aspects of our programming that we're particularly proud of. The first one being our Trusted Adult Initiative. Yes, this is the Sandpoint High School initiative for all students, but counselors really focus on our freshman class. We deliver a classroom lesson, a video series, and we meet with students individually to help them identify who their trusted adult is at Sandpoint High School, because we know how protective and important this can be during their 4 years with us. So we are proud to say that 100% of our freshman class have all identified a trusted adult at Sandpoint High School. The next initiative that we started this year is called The Power of the Process. This is a classroom lesson that we deliver to our junior class. It focuses on resiliency, growth mindset, and focusing on the process rather than the product. After we deliver this lesson, we ask for student feedback, and 95.6% of students said that they're going to incorporate that growth mindset into their day-to-day lives, which is awesome. When asking what they learned, these were some of the students saying. This last quote in particular stood out to me. It said, "Even though I may fail, it's just another step towards my goal. It isn't something I should fear." And I think that's pretty powerful. We also offer counseling skills group at the high school. They're 8-week sessions and a supported and structured environment for students to be able to make hard decisions and work on emotional regulation. The counselors do this in partnership with Dr. Megan Fox from Bonner General Behavioral Health. And 100% of the students who participated said that they felt this group was helpful to them and helped them make better decisions and deal with strong emotions. Now I'm going to pass it over to Ms. Jeremy Meyer.
So I want to share a little bit about, we have a great partnership with our English department. The month of October, we spend lots of time with our seniors, helping them complete Apply Idaho, and a free application for institutions in Idaho. And also, it's just a simpler application, and all of our students get the opportunity to participate. We also spend time with Scholarship Idaho so that students have the opportunity to take advantage of Idaho Opportunity, the Idaho Launch Scholarship. And what's exciting for us is in previous years, we always just continue to be above the state average. So it's really something we're proud of. Advanced Opportunity is where every public high school student has $4,625 available for them to use for CT examinations, AP classes, dual credit classes, and workforce training in demand careers. We are excited because we've had a 90% growth in this with our students from previous years. So our students and families are really starting to take advantage of this wonderful opportunity. And we're excited about just the opportunities that students are having. We had students take 518 dual credit courses, which equals over 1,500 college credits. So that was exciting. And as we talk about dual credit, Sandpoint High School, our staff is just getting on board, and we are so excited to provide more opportunities for students. We had 357 students, and really huge partnership to our math department, and our shout out to our math department, because every student that takes Algebra 2 has the opportunity to sign up for college algebra 1143 with University of Idaho, and it's just been amazing to have those students have that opportunity. And this is at no cost to them. It's through advanced opportunity funding, and it's been just wonderful for our students. We've added courses this year. In fact, we have students have the opportunity to earn 16 college credits in Spanish, which is amazing. We added physics. Next year we have chemistry coming on board, and other teachers are really looking to partner with our colleges and how we can take advantage and have more opportunities for our students to just, remove barriers and expand college and career readiness. Advanced placements is another opportunity. We had 183 students last year participate in at least one AP class. And that's wonderful, but I think what's even more important is that 86% of those students earned a score that will earn them college credit at just most institutions. And so not only are students challenging themselves with rigorous coursework, they're successfully completing it and earning college credit. And so I think that's really an exciting part. Near and dear to my heart is our partnership with the workforce training. Last year we had 5 students earn their commercial driver's license, so they graduated as seniors at high school and earned their commercial driver's license. This year we've already had 5 students pass, and we have a whole bunch more in the process. And then last year we had 1 student do their EMT, and we grew the program this year that we have 4 students who are doing their EMT and will get their certification as long as they pass the national exam in May. But it just shows that these students will have the opportunity to get into industry, credentials, ready to roll out of high school into high demand career fields. So we're excited about that. We are lucky to live in Sandpoint. This is just something I share with everyone. Sandpoint High School, our community is so generous to all of our students. This just represents Sandpoint High School. Last year we had 90 students win local scholarships for $295,000. Amazing what our community does. And I think what is just makes me so proud to live in this area is that it's, on my time as usual. I always get the hook. They all say, you can't stay for your 4 minutes. Our students, this is support students in post-secondary, whether it's a 2-year, a 4-year, a trade school, a technical school, a career, something like that. It just is wonderful to live in Sandpoint, and we're so grateful. And last, we're just representing part of the team. We are magnificent at the counseling team at Sandpoint High School, we call ourselves. And we are just so appreciative, Janae and I, our colleagues, but we really are appreciative to our staff, our teachers, our administration, our district leadership, the board, because without your support, your dedication, we just couldn't do everything that we do. And so we just wanted to share some green lights with you. Any questions?
I just want to thank you guys. I know that there's so many kids that would not apply for the scholarships if the pathway wasn't made more easily attainable through your guys' hard work, and the proof is in the pudding. It's fantastic. So,
but it's partnership with like our English department, our math department. Sandpoint High School is just awesome. We're so lucky.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Next up, we have the academic reports, or SHS. We've got a whole crew.
The whole crew brought the gang with me tonight. So I'm Jackie Frostingtown, the principal of Sandpoint High School. We have Taylor Grenier and Chris Taylor. We're just going to tell you a little bit about some of the academic awesomeness that's happening here at Sandpoint High School. But about a year ago, I presented to you and we shared that we were moving to a 6-period day. And as a result, one of the things that we wanted to make sure that we were very careful about was continuing on with intervention and extension opportunities for students at Sandpoint High School. And so one of the things that we did was we proposed and planned for, and we are about 3/4 of the way through our first year of Flex Fridays. And so what you see up there is the Flex Friday calendar. And what that represents is 7 opportunities the first semester and 7 opportunities second semester for students to Flex Fridays. And so we'll share with you just a little bit about the process that we went through to develop that, what it looks like, and then I'll let these two share some of our successes. So really what Flex Friday is all about is time. And so one of the things that we did when we moved to a 6-period day is we assured teachers, because it was a big shift to go from 80, 90-minute periods to 60-minute periods, and said if we really keep tight on Monday through Thursday being your instructional time, on Fridays, we want to give students an opportunity for interventions at school. And so what interventions during the school day provide is an opportunity for timely, systematic support for students where they don't have to get pulled out of their regular class time. And so it gives support, it helps them to not miss any new instruction. All students have an opportunity when it's offered on Fridays. It's an opportunity not only for remediation, but for extension. So a lot of our students who are in AP courses will also be benefiting from our Flex Fridays as well. And the biggest thing that we've been able to focus in on is students really taking ownership of their learning. because in order to flex a Friday, students have to meet a certain criteria, and it's really up to them to meet that criteria. And the other part of it is we have teachers really working together to focus in on what Fridays really look like at Sandpoint High School. So it's not a 4-day week. That was some of the concerns that I know people had or wondered about, but really it's a way to build in more time into our 5-day week. So the process was back in 2023, we added Bulldog time to our schedule. We were on an 8-period day, so in 2 weeks, students had an opportunity to spend a half an hour extra in each class with no new instruction, where they were able to maybe either retest, learn skills, take time with their teacher, and make sure that they had an opportunity to make sure their learning was cemented. But when we moved to a 6-period day, we weren't really sure how we were going to make that work. So we talked with our department chairs at Link. We spent 2 years planning, researching other models such as Clark Ford, Rigby High School, Thunder Ridge. We did surveys with parents, we talked to staff, we talked to the students, and we really tried to develop what is a way that we can make sure that we're doing interventions during the school day. And so we identified the key criteria, and that's where I'm going to pass it off to Chris here.
Yeah, so when we run our reports and we're trying to figure out who's able to flex a Friday, first thing we're going to do is look at academics. So you have to have 75% or higher in every single one of your classes. So if you got a 73 in math, sorry, you're coming on Friday, yeah, which is okay. We're happy to have you. Attendance, there's 2 parts to attendance. You need to be there 90% of the time. So we look at that, that's number 1. Are you there 90% of the time? But we don't just look at it overall, we look at it for every single class period. So dealing with some students in the past, they were there 90% of the time except for like art class or except for math class. That's the one that they would ditch very often. We decided, let's run it for every single class. Let's make sure you have 90% everything you do. The second part of attendance is, which goes over to behavior and detentions, is if you skip a class, you receive a detention. If you get 3 tardies in a week, you receive a detention. And those are just lunch detentions you serve. And so attendance is tied to that. And when we go for our next part that we check is behavior and detentions, if you haven't served those detentions for skipping a class or for your tardies, you're coming on those days. So there's 2-part check to our attendance and making sure you followed up and served your detentions and you're accountable for what you've done. And then obviously behavior, so if you have a referral and whatnot. The last part is parent approval. So we still have kids that are able to flex and they still show up on Fridays. They've earned it and their parents are like, nah, you know, I'd really love you to come on Friday. Or they want to come on Friday because they want to talk to a teacher and get extra instruction. You go ahead and click the next one. So this is what it looks like. We send these out to all parents. So you either receive a Flex Friday release, or you receive, hey, sorry, you gotta come on Friday. The first one was a release. The next one, whenever we send it, we try to give a reason why they have to come, but we also include a progress report. So this is what it looks like. Obviously, you could see, you know, if this student was a little worse off, they would have a lot more numbers there under A, which is unverified absence, or U, which is a verified truancy, or the tardies. They've just been tardy a couple times the whole semester. So you receive this every single Flex Friday week, not just 4 times a year, but every single time we do it. That way you can, if we say, hey, sorry, they have to come in this Friday due to attendance, you can see exactly which period and why and which class and help to address that.
Well, I get the fun duty of keeping a lot of stats and figuring out if what we're doing is working, because it's not worth doing if it's not working. So just to take you a little bit back in history right here, when we all came to the high school, it was my first year really tracking, and what I decided to track at that time was just the F list, so how many students in our whole school were receiving an F on a report card. So you can see in semester 1 of 22-23 when we started, we had 448 single Fs that appeared on a report card, and that was 219 students out of our roughly just over 1,000 students had at least 1 F on their report card. The next year is when we implemented Bulldog time, and it was that idea of that equitable instruction intervention during the school days. If you, everyone had access to their teacher again. So fingers crossed next year, a year later, how are we doing? Oh my gosh, we have really decreased that. We had 282 total Fs with only 146 of our students receiving an F, and we were really, really celebrating that, thinking we have done a great job. This is fantastic. Year 2 of Bulldog time was even more scary because we were like, okay, this is the second year of doing something. This is where it hits the road, are we making progress? And you can see that that was just another year of total success with our F list decreasing from 194 with only 109 students receiving at least one F during that time. And so the big ticket item though, and you can click that, sorry, I put a lot of moving parts on this one. The next one there's an arrow, just so you get ready. This is some anticipation. Because we were nervous, you guys, like we went to the 6th period day. So the little bit that you'll notice is obviously students have 2 less opportunities to receive an F this year because they went from 8 classes down to 6 classes. So it's a little bit skewed, but you can see, holy smokes, you guys, I actually went around and showed this PowerPoint to people who did not care at all because I was so excited when this happened. It was 146 total Fs and only 90 of our students had at least one F on the report card. And the really cool thing is only 6 seniors had at least one F. And when we started this data keeping process and giving lots of opportunity and really putting it to the grindstone, if not with the importance of passing every single class, our risky senior list was 50 kids long, and it's at 6 right now. So one more click gives us our green light to We're pretty excited about how those numbers are trending, and so obviously we're watching it really closely, but that's pretty right there, yeah. So we're excited with that so far. So, but this is just another way to kind of represent sort of the same information and just to kind of see how the different things that we've implemented over the years continue to have that really important impact on our students and kind of gives us, you know, obviously the 6th period day and this Flex Friday idea is still in its infancy stage. We're still looking at lots and lots of data. We have realized that semester 1 looks pretty different from semester 2, so we're looking at those numbers really hard right now, but obviously we won't know those until the end of the school year. But we're really happy with how things are going, and we've surveyed staff and students, and you know, we haven't changed grading practice at all, so this is really, you know, with what we're doing with attendance, the communication that they get a progress report 2 times a month. It's really high communication. I think is really having a really successful impact, and we're really excited. So I think that was good. Oh yeah, and then our counselors kind of stole this thunder, but I wanted to make sure you knew it wasn't just intervention that we're up to. We're up to a lot of advanced opportunities also, but our amazing counseling team covers that too. So we have it on both ends, and we're just really excited. Oh, I forgot about this slide, sorry. And we're tracking the attendance from what Chris and JP do too, and I just kind of wanted to highlight just some interesting things about our best weeks. Our very best week that we had 671 of our just over 1,000 students, so we had 1096 students. 61% of our students qualified on that week, which was really great. Our worst week down here was actually, ironically, our very first week, where we only had 618 kids qualified. And so, you know, what we would take away from that is maybe, hey, kids are figuring it out. They want the good grades. They want the Friday off. And like I said, our semester 2, it looks much different. So it'll be interesting to kind of parallel that as we go. There was a little bit more apathy in our 3rd quarter. We don't know if some powder days hit, some Flex Fridays maybe. So we're, you know, we're looking at all of our options for sure.
There was very few of those.
Yeah. But they were all
yeah.
And I will say, the sense of urgency that is created from the students, like Wednesday when these go out, as soon as they go out, there's a line of kids trying to talk to me and JP to like, well, my attendance, my detention, am I this, am I that? And they go see their teachers. Some of the teachers may not like how urgent it is, but I think it's awesome. This right here is just athletic eligibility. So in 2024, we kind of started doing athletic eligibility and having kids report to the library during lunch if they were failing. And so in 2024, 54 Fs in the fall, so 16% of the athletes, and that improved to 23 Fs this fall, so I basically cut in half there. And then winter, really successful as well. I will say Coach Knowles always tells me, he's like, I don't even have to ask anymore. I just see who's coming on Friday. That's all I got. I just got to check to see who's coming on Friday. And I know, like, oh, they must need a little help. I should probably talk to them.
All right, so that's some of our academic excellence that we've been working on as far as putting in Flex Fridays, but how can we continue to honor our students as well? So we have Brian Smith here to talk to you about next steps on how we honor those
So
seniors.
Brian Smith, teacher at Sanford High, I'm also the department chair at the Social Studies Department. And so as a part of some of the changes we have at Sanford High School, we ended up looking at our honor system. And actually, sorry, I did multiple transitions here. But first of all, why are we looking at our honor system? Our valedictorian, salutatorian, our high honors, our honors. A big part of the reason why we're looking at that and why we are making changes is because we moved from a block to a 6-period day. And as a result of that, we went from 64 opportunities to 48 opportunities. And so our system actually doesn't include every single credit a student takes. If it didn't, we wouldn't have to necessarily address this. But because we only take a certain number of those credits and use that towards the valedictorian, salutatorian calculation, then when we reduce those number of credits, you also have to address that system. Now some might ask, why don't we just do what's your grade on all of the credits that you have? And we have at least a couple of reasons for that. First of all, we want students to be able to explore classes. And not all of our classes are at a weighted level. We do use a weighted system where our AP classes are at a 5.0 and our dual credit and our honors at a 4.5 level. If a student had to consider every single class in order to maximize that GPA, they'd often be taking really a prescribed course of classes that every one of those students who wanted to be a valedictorian and salutatorian would have to take. But we want students to be able to explore their interests, take classes that are going to be consistent with the career that they might have, and we don't want to make that difficult calculation, oh, that's not an honors course. I know I really want it, but I want to compete at the highest levels. And so we use a system that doesn't take into account all of the credits. The other reason is we are dealing with kids who are competing for valedictorian and salutatorian, and they figure out the math of the rules. And if you include every class, there's a way to work that system through those rules. And I'll just use an example. We had 2 students, and those 2 students took every single course that was the same, every AP, every honors course, identical. But one student A, took them all at Sanford High, and another student took just a few of those and did those as independent study or online and made sure that they were pass-fail. The student who has all A's would actually have a lower GPA than the student who had a few credits that were pass-fail. And of course, students figured that out, and so we adopted a system that only takes a certain number of credits to account for that. That actually addresses that concern. So, what are the changes? The first one with the current classes, you can click on that one as well. Really, there will be no changes, and the reason why, one, we don't want to change the system when students are well into it. We're talking about this year's seniors and this year's juniors, but also those 2 classes have had at least half, if not 3/4 of their time spent in the block, so that higher level of credits, it still works. Go to the next 2 classes, we have 2 changes. One of which is just something that we've identified, and since we opened this up because of the change in credits, we wanted to address this. Since we only take a certain number of credits, we had to have a way to say, well, if you only count 32 credits, what if somebody does really well with those 32 and maximizes their GPA for the calculation, but they don't do so well with the other 32? Well, we have to have a way to account for that. And so originally the rule was you essentially had to have a 4.0 minimum, unless no one had a 4.0 to be considered valedictorian or salutatorian. But we found over the years that we've had some examples where students had maybe 1B. They took that extra math class, that extra world language or science class that was really at an advanced level and got a B+. And yet with the calculation, they still would have been the highest student. But because it says 0 Bs, they were out of the running. So, and of course, 1B could put you out of the running, but it shouldn't automatically put you out of the running. So we want to address that with a change. And so that would allow students to have 1B. The next change would be adjusting the actual number of credits. And again, this is to deal with it. Instead of having 64 opportunities, there's 48, or you go from 32 to 28. You might actually think that would be a larger or a drop. I'll show you why it is not in a couple slides. And then the class of 2030 or beyond, this is really 8th graders and beyond. So these are people who already haven't started the system, and we would move to the Latin honor system that has summa cum laude, magna cum laude, and cum laude, which is something that many people are familiar with at the college level. And we'll talk about how that actually helps our system make some changes as well. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so this is what we actually use to calculate for valedictorian and salutatorian. If you look at the left, that is our current system. That will be still used for this year's seniors and next year's, or this year's juniors as well. You can see the classes that are required. You can see on the right, which is what we would start for basically this year's sophomores to account for. You can see that originally they had 56 opportunities. Now you might ask why 56 instead of 64, because we don't count the last semester. You have to make the calculation prior to the last semester. Wouldn't be able to go right to the end of the year. And so you can see we did 32 out of those 56, about 57%. We're actually shifted to 28 out of 42. Again, that's 7 semesters, 2/3. We thought actually increasing the percentage made sense, especially since you do have less classes. So many of those are already those required courses. If you look at why do we have the numbers that we have, well, for one, we have to consider the second semester of a student's year. So for example, we're required to take 8 credits for English, but we can't count the senior second semester, so we do 7. Now, historically, we've done science and math at 6 because students could technically take them freshman, sophomore, and junior year, but not all students do. And we've also noticed that in the past, we've had some students who really pushed themselves their senior year, taking advanced math and science, but those counted against them, and so, or weren't able to count for them, I should say. And so as a result of that, we were trying to keep that consistent. 1 less credit in science, 1 less credit in math. It's actually 2 less credits in social studies, and the reason why is because government, second semester, senior year, and then economics can be taken either first semester or second semester, so we didn't want to penalize a student who ended up getting that class second semester of their senior year. And then what we're doing is pushing more towards a student option so that there's multiple pathways for a student. For example, a student now has more opportunities in math and science to get to that higher level. They could do a pathway through humanities, through the arts, through band, through world languages. They could do a pathway that more focuses on CTE courses and still ultimately be able to achieve that higher level. And so we thought that was important in making the shift. Okay. Changes to the level. So currently, before we go into this, currently what we do is, of course, the top GPA is valedictorian, the next is salutatorian, and then we have a high honors and we have an honors. But the way the system currently works, we end up getting more students that are high honors than that are honors. And that's typically flipped, right? You tend to have a smaller number and you build up to a larger number. And so these adjustments will actually make that happen. So our highest level would be summa cum laude, which is with highest honors. And that is a level we don't have currently. That would be the top 3% of the class. Many universities have something similar, 2%, 3%, 5%. Then we have magna cum laude, which would be with high honors, which would be that next 10%. That would guarantee, of course, it's getting bigger as we go. And then we considered having a percentage for cum laude with honors, but there was a lot of teachers who brought up the point that we want every student to have a mark that they can achieve, right? An aim, a goal to shoot for, a target to shoot for. And if we made it by percentage, it would depend on the class. One class could be particularly high, and you don't make it at 4.0. Another class, you could make it a 3.7. So what we decided to do is say, yeah, let's have those top 2 categories be ones that we really are competing for, and have that last category be one that you know, if I achieve this, if I take the appropriate classes and get a weighted average of 3.8 or above, that I would at least qualify for honors. And then, for example, this year's class, this would have, instead of having more of that high honors level and less of the honors level, would have actually resulted in 8 students in summa cum laude, 24 in magna cum laude, and 38 students in cum laude. Kind of building that progression, just like what we would be more likely to expect. And then the last thing, the one change to consider in going to a Latin system, many Latin systems do not have a valedictorian and salutatorian. We have made no decisions on this particular piece of it. It's just, do we remove the valedictorian and salutatorian, or do we maintain it along with everything that we've done, the other changes? You can absolutely keep it and make all the changes we did. And so this is one of those things that we want to survey the community about. And the earliest implementation would be this year's 8th graders, or maybe even this year's 7th graders, to be able to get the appropriate input. Again, like I said, all the changes that we've made are consistent with maintaining it or not having it. So it's really, what does our community feel about that? So if there are any questions, I can answer that.
No, it's good.
A lot of academic excellence.
We were salutatory. And that wouldn't have mattered with you, Brian.
No, it's good.
Thank you for taking into consideration like the gap, the kids that have been both.
Right,
So,
right, and that's awesome, we're trying to find the best ways to honor students who have really done well through their high school experience.
I think it's still important, like, it is really important. There are kids who set that as a goal, as a very specific, high mark goal. We sure as heck don't want to make any changes that remove that high target for somebody that wants to achieve it. Yes, it's great. We need to be, I like the grade system. It's this percentage, it's this number of students. It needs to be tiered, obviously, but the upper echelon is the upper echelon. That's a big deal. It's always funny to me, like, well, they figured this out. Yeah, they're the smartest kids in school. They're going to figure out the math. But yeah, great presentation. I'm glad that there's more clarity too, because that's always been a tough one in the years that I've been on the board. It's like the ping pong ball of like, wait, what is it? How are we grading things? Thank you.
You did a good job, you guys.
Next up, we have CFO Brian Wallace. Our financial update. Hi, Brian.
Hi. Chair Williams, members of the board, Dr. Meyer. I'll be very quick with the finance report since you've got a lot of talking to. Again, this is for March. At the very top, you see our revenues come in. March is a pretty light month as far as revenues. That's one of the reasons that it's good to have a healthy fund balance, so we do have those low months that don't have issues paying the bills. On the expenditure side, again, it's very typical where we have about that $3.5 million of salaries and benefits in the general fund, and just the other really light spending, honestly, as we close out the year. One thing I think is sort of interesting as we look at that previous year's comparisons, that through March, I mean, we're through a good chunk of the year, and things sort of roll at this point because we're wrapping up the fiscal year that ends in June. But our year-to-date expenditures last 3 years as a percentage to budget, 61.17, 61.28, 61.75. I just think that shows you sort of the consistency of how we're spending compared to budget, and that we're really doing a pretty good job of tracking consistently, which is good. If you see big variances from year to year, then you almost have to ask, well, what happened? Did we get a lot of extra money, or did we have unexpected expenditure or miss something? So that's good. Just by the chart, you can see the green is growing. Salaries and benefits, we're a little past half the year, and our materials and supplies, purchase services, capital items are getting close to the budget, but we're looking good, nothing unexpected. Spending for just a month, just to really, how do we go as a month? You can see that 3.6 in salaries and benefits. So for the month of March, almost all of our dollars are going out the door, which is salaries and benefits, and then just the other material supplies, purchase services, whereas really only 10% of the expenditures. Revenue side, we are, most of our revenues have come in. We'll get the large supplemental levy dollars in the summer. Our state apportionment is almost finished. We're getting some payments right now for some categorical programs on the other state, and otherwise we'll get a May payment, a small payment in July from the state. We're going to be pretty close to budget as far as the dollars. Looking fine there. The enrollment, this is actually good news. It's often this time of the year you start losing some kids. We were compared to last year, we're one up. And we lost 5 kids compared to last month on enrollment. So most could be minor variances, but that's actually good. A lot of times schools really start dropping attendance in the last couple months of the year. So that looks good. Finally, just a few items of note. Legislature did finish their work. It's really similar to the information I provided last month. No increases to the career ladder. Medical discretionary funding was increased at 10.8% on that formula. All of their state funding line items really remain flat. So, really what does that mean? I mean, for next year, and as an administrative team, really with these type of limited resources we're at, we just want to maintain status quo and support the strategic plan, specifically safe school facilities, quality staff, student connection, and community connection. And which is, as you look at a budget, and sometimes boards will say, well, we want to make a change, we want to do that. Sometimes if we're on a good trajectory and a good path, maintaining status quo is a big decision, because for us to do that in a year where we're, relative to our expenses, we're going to have less revenues, I mean, that's going to take, that's a big decision, because a lot of our neighboring districts definitely are going to be looking at ways where they can trim the budget and tweak things, because they are going to not have any more revenue, but costs, we all see inflation there in the school district budget, just like our family budget. But our goal is to, we might have some deficit spending as we present the budget for you in June, but we have to fund those, and that's okay. We're in a good spot. Last thing, the curriculum adoption update. Just want to let you know that we're going to expand the adoption of K-6 to K-8. Just wanted so the board knew that that was going to happen, that it was piloted, teacher approved materials through the middle level. As far as the expense, there's going to be some additional expenses, but I'm not really worried about it, because actually the initial expense of the K-6 when we had it was, from a CFO perspective, a great news, because it was way less than I thought. Usually curriculum adoptions are like of our size are hitting about around $1 million, and we were well below that. So we're in, we definitely have the capacity to meet the curricular goals of moving forward with the adoption. So just want to let you know that it's a little bit higher than what was presented last month. Okay, we're okay. All right. And if there are any questions?
None for me, nothing for you guys?
No. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Dr. Becky Meyer with the superintendent report.
Okay, April superintendent report. Obviously, several people have talked about our theme this year with the green light to shine. A little bit brighter on the TV than it is in real life. Reminding everyone of our strategic plans and our buckets. Students are at the center of everything we do. So just a quick update for the board on our safe schools and facilities. Update on CTEC. We do have a date now. Our grand opening, you'll get a save the date from Shelby, but it's going to be Tuesday, September 15th. So once students, this is supposed to be done this summer, but once students are in there and it's a little lived in for about a week, we'll have a huge grand opening ceremony, and so everyone will be invited. These are just some updates on the pictures. Recruit and retain quality staff. Just our annual survey that I always come back and let the board know, and I have let the staff know. Overall, our staff satisfaction is 4.24, and you can see it's gone up, and so this is our highest this year. And then these are the themes that came out. Dr. McLaughlin actually did it through his chat GPT thing, so I can't take credit for it, but his AI thing did. He loves AI. And he did have ankle. The reason he's not here, he had, between the two of us, we're not a very good medical picture of health right now, but he had ankle surgery and is recovering yesterday. So the staff would like to maintain low class sizes. They are letting us know that the student behavior and mental health needs are increasing We have the Student Safety Summit tomorrow that addresses some of that. We have Summer Tiger, who is funded by PACE, 100% by PACE, and that is our district behavior specialist that's helping with that as well. And this is always a great input. They want some stabilization before additional initiatives happen. So there's a lot of stuff that comes at you, some from us at the district, some from teachers themselves and principals, but also from the legislature, as you heard. So just sometimes trying to stabilize and slow some of that down is helpful for staff. Of course, salaries and benefits, and then quality over quantity PD. So those are real helpful hints from the staff. We want to improve student connection. You heard a lot about that tonight. This is an example of the elementary school safety survey. You can see number 3, I feel safe at school. The high school, though that secondary level, the questions are a little different, but there is an I feel safe at school question. So those, Kelly just got those tabulated maybe yesterday or the day before, but all schools, I feel safe at school, so now our total for the year is 95.52, which I'm really proud of, that many students feel safe at school. So that's a helpful statistic. Fostering our community connection. I was going to show this, and there's been a lot about Sandpoint High School. Where's Jackie? But this is only just a minute long, and I think it really, if you haven't seen it, it's worth the minute on the connections that Sandpoint High School did with their industry tours with our community. So Kelly's going to play this. It's just a minute. This is just Sandpoint High Schools, and they did a little video, but there's been a lot of focus from each school, and they have in their plan building goals to make that community connection. So reminding you, tomorrow is the Student Safety Summit. The dinner will come at 5. People will drop off their child care free food. Starting at 5:30 is the program, looking at all of the things that we can do to help support families. Also with the loop, and thank you to Shelby. If you click on the thing that says the loop diagonally, you can see any past, and this is just our last one that went out for March. And student learning is the center of all we do. Reminding everyone of the board's goals that they have for the year. Dr. McLaughlin presented on the graduation rate already for the year before last time. And reminding the center of everything we do as a student. And we're going to have Matt Deal, Brian Wallace, and James Fuller come up to present the information we said that we would present at the board meeting for the Lake Conroe High School board.
Hi, gentlemen.
Hi. Dr. Meyer and members of the board, and Matt Deal, Director of Facilities. Overview of the 1005 North Boyer property. We have 2¼ acres there. The main building, built in 1909, about 17,000 square feet. The gym is the upper left-hand corner, and that's a full building. 5 portable classrooms. The portable on the lower left corner is no longer on site. It's over at the Pine Street campus now. And the building, or the upper right-hand corner is the greenhouse that I'm sure you've seen as you've driven by. Some of the maintenance needs of the building, just around to go over the facility report that'll recap some of these. The building's unreinforced masonry, so it's built before you had steel and different things to reinforce it. So that's something that if you were to do a major renovation on this building, you would see probably a steel exoskeleton built inside of it to kind of shore everything up. The roof's in poor shape. Last time we had a roofing contractor out, he said, "Don't call me again." don't want to get up there. It's not actively leaking, but it's due to be replaced. Electrical, a lot of the panels are full, over capacity. Plumbing system is old galvanized pipe. Should be replaced. The fire alarm system, is just really antiquated. Doesn't have a dialer. Notify the fire department if there's a fire. No fire sprinklers. No modern building like this. So if you were gonna do upgrades in this and bring it up to code, it'd be a fire sprinkler system. ADA, it's a 2-story building. So of course that obviously doesn't have ADA without an elevator. And the other thing, it really could use interior modernization for functional education. And the next slide. So for the education functional limitations, are also part of a building evaluation and portables, accessibility and ADA portables that are on site there now are the really bad ones. There's a single wide there it's a single wide. And security, that campus is a really tough one to try to have a single point entrance. If it wasn't for snow removal, maybe you could, but the way the parking lots and everything are, if you start putting fencing in there, you have no way to remove snow. It's a tough one for campus security and single point entry. The gym is a full building, it functions, and it was a great investment when the district, have been able to use it for these years. The cafeteria is in that lower right-hand corner, really small little space there. The safe there's a big safe in the building, all concrete, and that's where some of the, I think, district archives are still kept in there. The building also lacks some storage and cabinet space, that kind of thing. And that was not my portion.
So, just for board members who haven't heard about how to do business condition evaluation, it really is sort of a systematic way of just sort of grading your buildings. And we look at the major systems, and there's set criteria on when you score a building. And a lot of scoring, some of it is we've taken a template and a process that the state of Idaho and the state of Washington used, and then we've tweaked it a little bit for the Lake Pend way. For example, some of the scoring when this originally was developed didn't have students' safety as a category. So we sort of added that as a category because obviously that's an increase, it's a big deal. So, but anyway, we treat each building the same and then we score, and that sort of the rating is 85 plus. All that good. The scale's 0 to 100. So if you have 100, maybe consider it you built a new building and it was meeting all the needs that the criteria had. Then it goes down 60 to 84 is fair, 40 to 60 is poor, and below 40 all unsatisfactory. Which really that's looking like the major building systems need replacement, really needs major renovations, and whether you were going to modernize and really bring it up to, let's say, close to 100 or build new, the cost is probably nearly the same.
Right.
So that's sort of the standard. So here's like the evaluation sheet for LPO, and its score was a 36. And you can see a lot of our comments as we go through, these different categories are the comments that Mr. Deal just described. fire suppression system, fire alarm systems, when should be upgraded, some of the same thing, carpet showing wear, unreinforced masonry, so all these things, and you get a score, whether it's a 10 or 4. In some areas, because they're more expensive to fix, are rated higher for the school. And so if we go to the next sheet, I always like to emphasize this. A low score doesn't mean unsafe. It just means that the building generally is old and has systems that need to be replaced. If you had a house right now with old galvanized pipe, you would be considering, boy, I'm going to have to, that pipe breaks, I'm going to have to fix it. That hasn't broke yet, but at some point it will. And so a lot of the systems at LPO, in 1909, has had upgrades through the years, but it is an old building, and really to bring it up to sort of modern specs. And the challenge of what people sometimes ask, well, why haven't you just addressed them as buildings? One, because they have a lot of resources. Two is, when you have an old building like that, it's pulling back the onion. Because once you hit a building with a certain amount of dollars, then you have to bring it up to code. And all those things, and so now you're saying, oh boy, what would some of those costs be? So the next slide. Just for the roof replacement, these are ranges we don't know, we didn't get formal quotes. The roof, probably 145, 200,000, so that's not a killer. But like an elevator, you're really going to just start addressing that. We have a pretty big range. We don't think it'd be 250. Part of that is once you get the elevator in, it requires additional power, and so now you're upgrading panels, and so it's not just elevators, more things that might be involved. You have to support the building and all those things that we get into it. So if we look at new construction, rough estimate, let's say we're really going to fully modernize that building. New, about 20,000 square feet. Right now, we're looking at C-Tech costs, and probably some of the costs of the S&S renovation. It's getting up to $450 a square foot. That's what construction costs. It's not inexpensive. So, that square footage, roughly $9 million if you're going to have a decent building on that side. Full modernization, again, instead of putting a new building there, you're going to go in there and keep the historical aspects. And a lot of school districts have done that in the past with some buildings. That community is real important to them. Probably would be the same amount, or maybe even more when you get into reinforcing that masonry and just all the labor that would be involved with that. So those are, we can have more of the one thing, the annual cost, let's say the building is unoccupied on the previous one. We're estimating around $15,000 to $16,000 just to keep the utilities on, plow, keep the grounds up and stuff like that. So it's not a, it's not going to cost like $2,000 to maintain that. And then finally, I guess, if we move forward, the estimated transportation costs, Mr. Cole.
So Dr. Meyer and Brian asked me to come up with an estimated transportation cost if we were to transport LPO students to 4 period opportunities to Sandpoint High School. So I just based it off of what a round trip shuttle would look like for those 4 periods, 30 miles a day. To do that would come up to be about $3,400 annually. The salary, this is based on, because it's 4 periods, I don't think it's realistic to use the current staff. I think it would take an additional driver to do that. And that's quite a bit of time throughout the day that would require. So the salary and benefits would also add to that cost, totaling $46,000. That's an estimate, but I think that's probably pretty close to what it would cost to transport students.
So the staff has worked through a schedule, and based on the schedule that's come out, the LPOHS students next year would have the option of 0 to 3 elective credits per day over at Sandpoint High School. And again, students may request to be there more periods, and then students may request to be there 0 periods and have independent study, work-based learning, different things at LPOHS. So I think both of those spectrums are going to be addressed. I would just really like to remind folks in the community and just everyone, that we really need to remember and that the focus needs to be on our LPOHS students. It needs to be on the current students, what's best for them, what's best for their education, and for them to fulfill their graduation requirements and still have all the opportunities and the instructional time available to all other students in our district. We cannot constrict the instructional time for LPOHS. They have to be afforded the same opportunity as all students. And so I really just want to remind everybody that it's important that our strategic plan and our entire system in this school district, and why it's so wonderful and amazing, is because every student, every day, we have to remember that those students need to stay in the center of everything we do. So just want to remind folks of that. And we got the appraisal report back. I got it yesterday, and so we will bring that to the board meeting in May. I haven't even looked at it yet, but I will share that with the board and bring it to May. And then we want to bring any other information that you would like for us to bring. So if you have other items you want us to bring to the May meeting, we're happy to do so. So you can let us know. And any questions?
No, I thank you for providing all that information. Those questions on, what does the building cost? What does it cost if it's mothballed, so to speak? What are the uses? All those things are very, very important. I want to remind the public, we're not getting an appraisal on the building because it's going for sale, okay? It is a state law requirement that we have to get an appraisal on our properties. So that is the function that we are fulfilling here. It is not a, hey, this thing's gonna go hit the market and the highest bidder is gonna come in and sweep up a block in Sandpoint. There's zero plan for that whatsoever. We are following the letter of the law with the state as it pertains to public education in our facilities. So just so everybody's clear on that. I know that this is a hot button issue. It is very important for all of us to get all of the facts to make the most informed decision to help our students and staff the best way that we can. So I just want to make sure that everybody's clear on that. Thank you guys very much for all that information.
Thank you.
All right, our next item up is our public comment. And we do have a few people signed up for public comment. I'm going to read this really quick. Everybody's in the same topic here. It's about LPO. Everybody has the right to speak. I'm not trying to dissuade anybody from speaking. But we're on the same topic over and over again. I do go ahead and suggest that if you yield your time to somebody else, we're all talking about the same thing, should you choose. Real quick here, the Board of Trustees welcomes patron comments from the community. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person and must be appropriate for an open forum. Input must not identify individual personnel or students or be abusive, defamatory, or obscene. The total time allotted for public comment will not exceed 30 minutes. This is a board meeting held in public, not a public board meeting, as governed by Idaho Code 33, Section 5. Thus, no discussions or responses can occur during the meeting. Issues may be referred to the proper staff person or committee for follow-up for the board's discretion. Any complaint about the district, including instruction, discipline, district personnel policy, procedure, or curriculum, should be referred through proper administrative channels before it is presented to the board for consideration. And then I'll leave the last part up because I already addressed it. And I have a timer here, guys. I'll start it when you guys start speaking. It's not the loudest, so I will let you know when it goes off. You have 3 minutes, yeah. And first up, we have Brandon Ryan. Good evening, Mr. Ryan.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
So I'm a proud student of LPO, 2003. Grew up hating school, hated it so much I looked at it as a government freaking training that I didn't want to be a part of until I went to the freaking LPO and my whole life changed. The teachers cared about you, they were there for you, they made me care about my education. They really did. And I am really pissed off to find out that they are trying to shut that place down. If somebody would have made me go to a trailer behind a school that I hated, like the high school, I would have never got a diploma, I would have never done anything, and who knows where I'd be now. And I turned out just fine. So, I want to ask the school board something. You guys have all this hoopla, oh, save the kids, all this crap. Do you guys really care about the kids? Or do you guys want to freaking shut down the LPO? I mean, do you really care about them? Do you care about their needs? From what I've heard, this isn't the only attempt that has happened. There have been numerous people coming here begging to keep the LPO open, especially since a lot of you guys know how we all felt. So, that's what I got to say. Does the school board actually care about the kids? Do they or do they not? I don't know what's happened. I've just seen the stuff that I'm curious about, and I'm sorry I'm letting it out on you guys. I shouldn't be approaching it this way, and I'm really sorry. Those of you that are looking at me like, oh, he's just some dumb redneck, who cares about him? Ask yourself why you're saying that. That is no concern whatsoever. So, save the LPO.
And next up we have Sandy Lang.
My name is Sandy Lang. For the majority who have not had the pleasure of meeting me, highly respected, congenial, professional, dedicated, knowledgeable, efficient, beloved librarian, parapro and b-ball coach, and lastly, humble. 21 years at LPO. To quote Abraham Lincoln, this country, alias district, with its institutions, schools, belongs to the people, students, who inhabit it. The students, former and current, share a common thread theme. They have been positively affected by their tenure at 1005 North Boyer, with staff in the rooms, in the building. It is a travesty to conceive of removing this institution, historical landmark, and former Lincoln Elementary School for many Sandpoint citizens. There are feasible financial means to preserve this educational edifice, just as there were for the construction of the new tech center. It is lamentable that this body did not experience the numerous commendable art, culinary, science, outdoor ed, phys ed, math, history, and English projects that served the community and left a lasting impression on students' lives. May LPO continue to inhabit Lincoln School.
Next up we have Brett Johnson.
Good evening. My name is Brett Johnson, and I am one of the few remaining teachers at Lake Pondere High School, where I have proudly taught for 11 years. I'm here to speak about the proposed restructuring of our at-risk student program. Lake Pondere High School is not just another school. It is the only program in the district specifically for students who do not succeed in traditional environments. That is its purpose. That is its function. And for decades, it has done exactly that. What is being proposed is not a refinement of that model. It is a dismantling of it. We are taking a program built for vulnerable students and moving it into a cluster of portables, a trailer park behind Sandpoint Middle School. We are removing a dedicated counselor, and we are continuing a pattern of staffing cuts at the one school whose students have the least margin for disruption. During the recent accreditation process, our Cognia evaluator raised serious concerns about this direction. He could not understand why the district was making this decision. He reported that no one he spoke with, staff, students, or parents, at either school supported it. More importantly, he questioned the logic at the center of the plan. Students would be removed from a stable, supportive environment, placed in an objectively inferior setting, and then required to return to Sandpoint High School for electives, the very environment where many have already experienced bullying, anxiety, and failure. This is not best practice. This is a contradiction. And this proposal comes after years of sustained loss. We've lost over half our teaching staff in 3 years, while enrollment has only modestly declined from about 95 to a little under 80 students. No other school in the district has experienced this level of concentrated reduction. At some point, this stops being restructuring and becomes erosion. So the question is not whether this saves money, the question is who bears the cost? If Lake Pend High School is relocated to Sandpoint Middle School's campus, that cost will fall on the students least equipped to carry it. Students who depend on stability, consistency, and trust just to stay engaged in school at all. A building is not a school, but a school still needs a place of its own to be a school. Having our own campus with autonomy, like every other school in the district, is part of what makes that possible. Because LPO students are just as capable, just as worthy, and just as human as any other students in this district. They deserve more than an afterthought. They deserve more than a compromise. They deserve a school and a campus of their own. Thank you.
Brian Rosecrans, you're up.
Mine is prepare a speech next time I have to follow you. Hello, my name is Rand Rosecrans. School Board, Dr. Meyer, I'm here tonight, not because I'm retiring, no malice, I didn't retire, my job ran out. I'm here because I'm going to do the same thing I've done for 35 years now, and that's to be an advocate for those who fall between the cracks and are left behind. I've for 10 years had the marvelous, amazing, wonderful privilege to have loving, honorable, and safe relationships with my students. And here's what I hear from my students now, because I believe we need to listen to them too. I respect you folks and what you have to do, and you're on the board. Dr. Meyer, I have full respect for you and your leadership. But I'm going to say this publicly. I disagree with what we're doing for the same reasons that Brett just pointed out. In another school, another place, we'll keep the program. I know this is about numbers, but I want to ask you about a couple numbers right now. I have a student right now that came here, I won't mention names, 4 years ago, one of the toughest students I've ever had. Recently, he leaned over a fence when we were cleaning up on a neighbor's yard of a disabled person. Said, you know, Chef Rand, we need to go over there and help that lady out. Tomorrow, we begin the fogging and cleaning and begin the production of that, of our students working together to help someone in the community. This is what our students do. We don't have a lot of other extracurricular programs. We serve the community. We have multiple examples of that. How do you put a price on that? What is that number? I see your figures with what's going on with the schools. I understand that we need to be fiscally responsible. I also understand, and I've seen the good and the bad, when a community fails to support all of its students and all of its young people. I've had students that have gone on to be jet pilots, doctors. I have a student right now that's serving life in prison for murdering 2 Alaska State troopers. So I've seen the good and the bad. That's not to say that that's going to happen, but here's what I really want to stand up and say. Please, please, please. I know you have a pattern. I know you guys have a schedule. I understand all that. But consider the impact on this community of an institution, and like Brett said, the autonomy of something. Because I'm here to tell you, I'll promise you this. Our students don't care if there's an elevator in that building. I know that's a state rule. I know about safety and security, and we can't secure, and they feel safe there. You've heard many of them say that's their home. As we move forward, I ask you to consider that. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody who stepped up and spoke. I know this is a hot button issue. It is not over. And I said it once before, I'll say it again. I commend anybody who comes up here to talk. It's not an easy thing. It's really easy for people to sit behind their keyboard and throw vitriol out there, but to come here and put your name on the line and come up and talk and participate in democracy is a big deal. And I appreciate and respect everybody for doing that. And that's part of the process, so thank you. And it's all important. This is all important information. So, moving forward, we're moving on to our non-action items. First up, we have, and likewise, if you want to leave after the public comment, feel free to do so, but feel free to stay as well. We have Executive Director Mary Jensen here from the Forestburg Charter School.
Hello.
Hello, Mary. Thank you for being here. Welcome. We're good?
This was quite interesting.
Yeah, welcome.
So I know this is usually much earlier in February, but time got away from me. Holy moly, I looked at the calendar and thought, well, I need to do my authorizers report to you guys. Oh, you might enjoy how short this is because I had to put it kind of quickly. So our board members right now are Sean Burns, Stephanie Hawkins, Andre, and Stephen Roberts. And I apologize. So I just wanted to tell everybody Forestburg Charter School is our own school, but LPOSD is our authorizer. So once a year I need to make that a report. I love making a report because I love this school. They do amazing things. And this board's been so supportive of the charter school. So that's what this is about, is our yearly authorization report. And so our demographics, we right now have currently, as of last Friday, 235 students. We do have 30% of our students have IEPs and are in special education. And then our graduation rate currently is at 79.4%. It's funny that you guys did your finance report because it looks exactly the same. Like how much money we spend, where it's coming from, pretty much is the same. So 91% of the money is that we get is from the state. We cannot levy or bond money as a charter school. Okay, last year was kind of rough on us for finances because we had some facilities things happen, like the main water line coming into the school burst, and we had to replace part of it. And so that was an expense that we didn't expect. So we had to dip into our contingency fund, which is our rainy day funds, to pay for that. And so that's why we had a dip, part of the reason on this dip. We also had a dip of enrollment last year. So when we budgeted our money, we anticipated a little bit more students than we received. And then the other dip was staffing. So we had less, and we normally got less money from the state for the staffing. So that is why the line lights down on our report for our audit last year. Our auditor said that's not unusual for the state overall last year that has a dip, and they also said in charter schools across the state it wasn't unusual as well. So just a warning, this year we're going to also have another dip because we had to add a special ed room, so we had some construction on that. Our water line had another problem at a different spot that we had to fix. So we're getting into our contingency funds again to do that. Our contingency funds, we have quite a bit. Rainy day funds, we've always been putting into it, so we're not concerned on the viability of the school. That's what those contingency funds are for, those emergency facility things or activities that we may use. So this is really almost the same. Our expenses mainly go to instruction, staffing for our kids, and benefits. the support staff. We do have a loan on our buildings, so last year part of that extra expense is our loan. Economy, don't you love it? So the amount of interest we had to pay on our loan increased significantly by month because it was a 5-year renewal. So our loan increased thousands of dollars per month that we had to pay into it, that we had to figure out. Our achievement measures, so they do not meet state goals, not goals and targets, mainly because of that 30% of special ed population. So if you took our special ed population out of the measurements of the goals, they're at level or higher, but they have to put in their special ed. They work very hard too, right? And it has to be indicative of the entire school. And Sarah told me, it's just really short. Kelly just sent me an email, hey, where's the slides? I said, hey, I'm on spring break, I'll need to get them out to you. So I was wondering if you guys had any questions?
No presentation.
Okay.
I see things are going well.
It is.
Yeah.
We're a happy little school.
All right.
And you guys can visit anytime.
Thank you. Awesome.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, next up, we are going to jump into first reading of policy. First one up is 5415, types of leave. Only new changes here, bottom paragraph. You got any questions? Any early grammatical errors anybody found? Yeah. All right. Next, we're moving on. There we go. Moving on to the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. That motion passes. Next up is we are going to have the interview and appointment of the trustee for Zone 2C. I'm going to pull a couple of desks out for you guys.
Hot seats.
Thank you, Kelly. All right, so we have a vacancy on the board. As you guys can see, there's only 4 of us up here. Jalen Peters stepped down last month, and we have got to fill that spot. The way that this works is we have, come on up, Sean. We have 2 candidates that have stepped forward and put their name on the line and met all the requirements. And the way that this process works is we will now the board will interview the candidates, and we will deliberate and make a decision. And just so everybody knows, we have Mr. Thomas Fletcher here and Rochelle Hutchins. Am I saying that right? Rochelle? Right. Thank you guys both very much for stepping up and getting ready to take this on. The way that we do this, we have our interview questions, and we will just rotate as a board. So I'll start out the questions, and we'll just work our way down through. And do you guys have any questions? No? Okay. All right, so first off, we good here? We're good? All right. Each trustee will ask 2 questions. Candidate will alternate who answers each question first. On the scoring matrix, if we have scoring matrix, we will go through this and then we will evaluate. So we'll just start out. We'll go with background. Thomas, I'll start with you first. Question number 1. Describe your understanding of the school board trustee position and how your professional experience, knowledge, skills, and abilities make you a qualified candidate for the position.
Okay. Well, I would say my understanding of this position is probably understood by the fact that I read nearly all of your 500 policies. You have a lot of them. Pay particular attention to the first 1,000 through 4,000 series. It's imperative that if you're going to be on the board, you need to understand the statutory underpinnings, the ethical parameters, the duties and responsibilities. I feel that it's vitally important that we understand the rights of students and parents. After all, the very heart and soul of your enterprise is attending to what I consider to be one of the premier responsibilities of a civil society. If you think about it, what's the most important thing you can do in life? Well, have children, in my opinion. And if you're going to have children, your wish is that they become productive citizens. So for that, they need to be healthy. I'm kind of partial to health, by the way. And you want them to have a healthy mind, and that means education. So quite frankly, I see what you're doing at the very crux of civilization. It would be my honor to participate in this exercise. If you read what I wrote, my particular interest in participating with your board is how we might introduce artificial intelligence into the educational process. You know, everyone's got an opinion about AI. And I'm here to tell you, I'm neither one of these zealots, you know, an accelerationist, nor am I a doomer. It's my hunch that AI is more than a fad. I think it's here. And I think the possibility of integrating AI into the educational process, if dealt with appropriately, understood, can have a profound impact. I find that challenging. I find it exciting. That's why I'm here, to be quite honest with you. Not that I'm not willing to deal with, I don't know, the underbelly of people disturbed about whether a building's going to get destroyed or whatever. I get all that also, but really what motivates me is this intellectual challenge of how to move forward, integrating artificial intelligence into the educational process. Thank you.
So my understanding of the school board position is enabling the educators and the staff to meet the mission, which is making sure that we're taking care of all the students. And I actually am thrilled with the strategic initiatives that this group has put forth. I think it really hits the nail on the head, so to speak, as far as what I do as things that are important, things that I can see areas of improvement. So I'm really excited to see so much effort being put forth by this group, and I would be honored to be a part of it and make sure that we are maintaining that momentum. As far as my professional experience, I am a vice president of a multi-million-dollar engineering firm based out of Camas, Washington. I live here remotely with my family, and we moved here predominantly because of the school district and to be a part of a community that we really believed in. And my job every day is dealing with all kinds of messes. I am personally involved every day in creating strategic direction. I manage actually a very similar sized budget to what we see here. In terms of revenue as well as overhead expenses, so that's something that I'm intimately familiar with. I was a part of our 5-year strategic plan initiative as well. I even built out the roadmap myself, working with our department heads and making sure that all of our OKRs were established and making sure that they all understood their mission and making sure that I'm holding them accountable as well. Another part of my role, I think, as well, would be on the board. To make sure that the superintendent is making sure that they are meeting their objectives as well. I also
have a background, my formal education is actually in human resources. I went to Washington State and got a degree in it, and I spent the majority of my career in it, and was promoted about 8 years ago into the executive team, where I stood on the board very similar, actually 5 people as well. And so I am intimately familiar with crisis management as well. I'm the person that people call when things are going sideways. I've had the FBI call because we have security breach internationally. I've had flooding in our building too, graffiti, people showing up that are getting stalking our employees. I have seen a lot. And I'm the person that people call to make sure that we're handling it properly. I get the right people in the room, have the discussion, ask the hard questions, making sure that we're making data-driven decisions, and I see this being very similar. So I think I could align my current skill set very well with this position.
Okay, question number 2, Rochelle, this comes back to you because Tom had the first one. Number 2, please explain why you chose to apply for the Lake Pend Oreille School Board trustee position at this particular time.
Well, I have 3 children at Southside Elementary. I'm very invested in making sure they have a great educational experience. Like I mentioned, one of the main reasons that we moved here was to be a part of this education system. We came from a community that was not having great direction in our district, and they were lacking focus on academics, and I see a lot of promise in this district, and I'm really excited about being part of it. I feel very passionately about student education, and I want to make sure that a lot of other students are getting the same opportunity as my kids to thrive. They have really turned around since being a part of this school system. In particular, Southside is fantastic. Go Eagles. We actually sought out property to be in that specific school because of the STEM program. It is fantastic. I cannot say enough good things. I was even a part of the board that talked to the STEM state folks that came down from Boise to talk. And I wanted to make sure that I was an advocate for that program to make sure we got renewed last year. I just feel like I can provide a different perspective as well because I'm newer to the district. We moved here a couple years ago, and a lot of you have been here a long time, which is fantastic, and I think that offers a perspective, but I think sometimes having seen what not to do can be equally as valuable. And so I think that I can ask potentially different questions and maybe think about things differently than the board currently does, and provide an opportunity to add value that way.
Thank you. Tom? Tom or Thomas? Thomas, okay. Please explain why you chose to apply for Lake Pend Oreille School District Board trustee position at this particular time.
Well, I need to apologize because my first statement was actually an answer to number 2.
That's fair.
I saw that and I just sort of went to it. So let me, if I may invert those.
No problem.
If you have reviewed my resume, I don't want to rehearse it, but I would like to perhaps focus on my most recent experience, and that is on the Panhandle Health District Board. When I was appointed/elected to the board, my instructions from Commissioner Dan McDonald were as follows. I don't know if you guys remember Dan McDonald. That's kind of a bossy fellow. I actually adore the fellow. He's right. In any event, he's a good friend. Dan said, look here, Thomas, you either need to destroy Panhandle Health or fix it. But it's a problem. Now remember, this was in the midst of the COVID crisis. There was a lot of confusion, a lot of disorientation, to put it mildly. And the first couple of years, I was just sort of getting my feet. The existing chairman had been on the board since 1993. And shall we say that the institution had become somewhat ossified. It really did not have much inner life. And I was fortunate enough to be elected the chairman of the board. And my first task was to try to understand what our bearings are, what's the mission, what are we doing, and towards that end, I organized a workshop that included all the stakeholders, and the principal outcome, there were several outcomes of that workshop, which by the way was May 10th of last year, was we came to understand that public health had lost trust from the public. Well, that's sad. Now, I'm not going to prosecute how public health lost trust. I'm sure all of you can remember the events of the last 5 years and can conjure up in your own mind how that might have happened. But how do we move forward? How do we reestablish trust? And towards that end, some bylaw changes occurred, some which sort of make a structural change in the relationship of the board with the administration. Historically, the board had a profoundly, shall we say, passive role in the formation of medical policy at Panhandle Health. For all practical purposes, policy was generated by the CDC. Whatever the CDC says, you do. Well, people up here have a different attitude. I mean, when Commissioner McDonald said, look, fix it or do something different, I took him at his word, and the only way in which we could effectuate that change was actually to put the board in a position where it could make a difference. Because heretofore, it couldn't. And so bylaw changes were made. I could go into detail. You want to afford me the time, but I really don't feel that selfish. We're making progress. We're actually going to reimagine the clinics. We're going to reimagine how we deliver health care. And this is a, shall we say, an exercise in progress. Do I know how this is going to turn out? No. But it's exciting, and I think certainly, I want to make Commissioner Dan McDonald proud. There you go. Did I answer question?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, 1 and 2.
One.
Number 1,
Yeah,
number 2.
yeah.
That's good. Like I said, we got the arrows.
All right, Mia?
Yep.
All right. Mr. Fletcher, this is back to you, I think then, right? There are times when trustees must communicate with upset parents, staff, and patrons. Give an example of how you've handled a controversial situation.
Oh, me?
Yep.
Oh, well, I was medical director at my company, Austin Radiological Association, for 10 years. So I had the task of dealing with the underbelly of issues. People get unhappy. And when people get unhappy, it might be physicians and physicians, physicians and patients, physicians and administrators. Whenever there was unhappiness, you go to the medical director, and I sort of am like a marriage counselor. And the way I dealt with it, quite frankly, and I can actually answer 3 and 4 almost identically, you have to speak with people. You have to get both sides of an issue. I mean, an overwhelming lesson I learned was, okay, you hear a complaint of some sort, I promise you there's another side to that story. There always is. And you have to approach the matter in a neutral, fair-minded sense. You can't, you know, I don't particularly care for hospital administrators, but that's okay. If there was a misbehaving physician in the appropriate context and there needed, you know, counseling, then indeed you have to counsel individuals when they need counsel. You can't just sort of have a tribal prejudice. And so understand both sides, due diligence, and fair-mindedness.
Thank you. Same to you.
Okay, we're number 3, yeah?
Yep.
Thank you, sir. I'm trying to like write notes for the next one because I'll be writing, okay? So, controversial situations is pretty much what I'm dealing with day in, day out. A non-extreme example, kind of an everyday example, I have multiple departments that report to me. They're all the support departments for our company. So 2 departments right now, we're not aligning on the implementation of what we call demand planning, which is an enterprise resource module. So how we make sure that everything is getting paid for, flowing into the building, we're invoicing properly, we're tracking inventory, all that stuff. And so our finance team and our supply chain team were at odds on how they wanted to get that done. We were at a stalemate for like a few months of them trying to work through it themselves, to the point where I was like, all right, it's time for me to step in and help. So I got them in the room and I added some other stakeholders. I added in one of our engineers, I added in one of our ERP administrators to get some additional data points. We started doing a lot more digging, asking more questions, exploring alternatives, just trying to do something to get unstuck. And so we're trying to make sure that we're all aligned on making sure we're getting paid for the stuff that's leaving the building, right? Making sure that we're aligning on the same goal and making sure that everyone is coming from a place of good intent, right? Try to take your emotions out of it. It just can be hard to do at times, I totally get it. But when you start to focus on what matters, it's amazing what you can do when you have data-driven solutions. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
Okay, Michelle, you're up again. Trustees must prepare for regular and special board meetings. This frequently includes reviewing documents and gathering information from various individuals in a tight time frame. Please describe the techniques you would use to become informed about issues before the board.
I'm quite the multitasker. So I would spend a lot of my free time during my lunch hour, for example, reviewing documents. I also am constantly taking my kids to activities. I think a lot of parents can relate after school. And I would actually use those as an opportunity to talk to parents and use that as a time to get a pulse check on the community. How are they feeling about some of the items that are on the agenda, for example? Even just recently, it was really fascinating. I was listening to some parents. I was actually asking them about how much they knew about the LPO situation, which is fascinating that it's a hot topic here, but there were 2 groups. They either had no idea what was happening, or they only heard one narrative, which I thought was also fascinating. And it wasn't the district's narrative. It was what they were hearing on social media. So it's like a separate topic. I think that could be an opportunity. But I also just think that using these opportunities, being amongst parents, I coach, my husband coaches, we're constantly at soccer games. I think you could also use that as an opportunity to share with the community. I also am a huge fan of leveraging AI tools, which may be controversial, but I think you can use it as an opportunity. It's not just have to be like the scary thing, right? And it can be a great enhancer of what you're already tasked.
Okay, thank you. You need me to read that to you again?
No, that's all right. Got it.
Okay.
Okay, so the special board meetings I'm thinking are these that contain some emotional content more than just finance? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay, that was my intuitive understanding. I have to confess, I have a huge bias towards human-to-human contact, personal contact. In fact, I don't even like these Zoom meetings and telephone conversations, teleconferences. There is so much that's lost through that digital interface. If you're going to prepare for a meeting for a matter of some emotive content, then you have to meet these people. You have to, see them and appreciate how they breathe, and eye contact, and not only that, I'm retired and I can spend a lot of time doing this. I don't know, did I answer your question?
All right. Coming back around, Thomas will be you up first.
Right. This one's easy. I mean, in my entire professional career, we had the physicians were, in fact, the partners, and we were the, if you will, board members.
Okay.
But we had approximately 100 physicians at ARA, but we had 1,000 employees. So we had an entire administrative staff that dealt with the employees. It was absolutely imperative that there be a bright line between the physicians. And let's face it, I owned the company. I could have been the boss. I mean, in other words, I could go into a clinic or a hospital and sort of act like a bully. No, that's exceedingly inappropriate. You have to have a chain of command, and you have to have a clean delineation of those who are, if you will, in charge of policy versus those who are in charge of the execution of the policy. So yeah, I was involved in policy decisions, and the board at Panhandle Health, as I've alluded to earlier, are in fact get more involved in policy decisions. But I don't tell Eric Cadner how to run Panhandle Health. I mean, that would be, and I'm even the chairman. I wouldn't do that. I mean, that's just inappropriate. You have to have a delineation of roles and responsibilities, because Eric, your superintendent, has to have the respect of several hundred people. I cannot interfere with that line of respect, otherwise it undermines what she's, her enterprise. And her enterprise is vital. So, for me, it's policy versus execution.
Thank you.
I would say ditto, but that's probably cheating.
Should you read that out loud? Those
Yeah,
dates
and I think that I want to make sure that everybody knows what question we're on. So, on the trustee role, what is your understanding of the role of the school board versus the role of the school?
So my understanding is the school board is really creating mission, direction, vision, and the superintendent is in charge of execution of day-to-day operations. So, very similar answer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so then come back to the
Yep.
question. Okay, describe what role, if any, do you think the school board has in student achievement?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think the primary objective is making sure that we're enabling all of our educators and administration to be successful and stay on mission. I want to make sure that they understand clearly what the objectives are. If they don't have the transparency and the visibility to do their job successfully, the board will be failing, quite frankly. And I also think it's important to make sure that the board is holding the administration accountable, making sure that they are staying on mission.
Thank you.
Well, this question is why I'm sitting here. I have a hunch, and that's all it is, because we have no empirical evidence, that artificial intelligence can in fact enhance student performance. The Alpha School in Austin, Texas is one example. There are many others of where we could achieve a 2 sigma increase in academic performance of students. I would imagine this proceeding along the following lines. We have to secure buy-in of the stakeholders. I don't believe in mandates, by the way. Just a little philosophical background. I'm a medical freedom warrior. So I'm also a cognitive freedom warrior. So I don't believe in imposing my thought system on other human beings, just to put that out there. But were we to move forward with an AI project, okay, so you start with the stakeholders, the teachers, and the parents. See if there's an appetite for moving forward with AI instructional program of some sort. What does that look like? I don't know. If there is an appetite to move forward with this, then I presume we would figure out some sort of a mechanism, and here's where I'm going to rely heavily on the expertise of our administration. Does this mean creating a charter school for AI? I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing out material that I'm throwing on the wall, you understand? And then after you find out that there's an appetite for such a program, then you have to do your homework, find out who else in the country or the planet is moving in this direction, find out what works, what doesn't work, best of breed, and then you launch a pilot program of some sort. What does that look like? I don't know, but you're going to have to embed in this exercise metrics. And I can't emphasize enough the metrics. We have to know where we're going from point A to point B. We're not going to just experiment with kids' lives. And again, remember, this is exclusively with the understanding and cooperation of teachers and parents. There's no mandates here. I don't know, I think it's exciting. So do you think the school board has a role in academic student achievement? You darn right I do, that's why I'm sitting here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, comes to you again. Do you have any specific changes you want to make in school district policies, programs, or the various school curriculum being offered?
Well, like I said, I went through a lot of your policies. And to be quite honest with you, I didn't find objection. I thought a lot of them were common sense. A lot of them are probably mandated by state statutes. I mean, I don't know that you get to invent all this. No, I mean, what I heard tonight, and let me say, I enjoyed tonight. I mean, I had a bunch of kids who, by the way, went to public school. And I went to PTA meetings, and I was an involved parent. You know, I got involved. I knew all the teachers. And as I was sitting back there in the back, and I was thinking to myself, did I ever meet once a board member of Eames Independent School District in Austin, Texas? I don't think I did. I mean, they were people. but they were, I don't know, they were somewhere else. And I thought this exercise tonight brought humanity to you guys. I really did. I can't tell you how I appreciated this entire event this evening. You know, you've heard a bias of mine, personal interaction. Well, guys, you did it. I mean, I don't know. As far as making specific changes to the curriculum, no, I mean, what I heard tonight sounded fine. I liked your the reforms that the both at the upper end, lower end. You know, you've got your tails in a bell distribution. You always have your tail distributions. They're the most challenging. The middle, you know, 66% are pretty straightforward. It's these two. We heard presentations tonight, some passionate. You just, no, I have no specific changes.
I too feel like the vast majority of the policies are amazing. I think that the curriculum is fantastic. I'm super excited about the new ELA curriculum that's coming into play. We had it at our old district and it was very successful there. That's one of the high points of the last district, I would say. So I'm really excited about that. If I had a magic wand, though, I would love to see more of the STEM curriculum that Southside has spread to more elementary schools. I think PBLs are super powerful. I cannot say enough good things about how much this transformed my kids and their education experience. My son was, he's gonna be so mad when he sees this video. My oldest was having some behavior issues at the previous district, and he came here in the 7th and 4th grade last year. He started loving school. He loved PBLs. She empowered him. She gave him autonomy. He got to talk about things that he loved and was passionate about. And he's now he's got one of the highest scores in his class for ISAS last year. He started the year behind by a whole year in math because of the previous district was so far behind in academics. And I'm gonna get emotional about it. The amount of transformation I've seen in him has just been flooring, and I just want that for everybody. So I think if more people have the opportunity to do PBLs, it may not be for everybody, but it certainly changed my family.
Thank you.
Okay, Rochelle, give an example of a current challenge facing our school district. What is your proposed solution?
So I kind of poked that a little bit earlier, not knowing that this question was ahead, so that worked out. This LPO, hot button topic. I don't have the solution, but I do think that there is an opportunity perhaps for more education for the parents of the district. I feel like there's a lot of fantastic information on the district website that I know everyone can get to, but the average parent is not visiting the district website. They are seeing the loop, they are getting messages from their principals, those kinds of things, and I think if you were able to fully paint the picture of what the district is up against, it would help people have a better understanding at least of what's going on and how decisions are being made. So I do think that the district is doing a great job of gathering data and making informed decisions. And I think if they had more than just one perspective that they're seeing on social media, or maybe not even at all in some of the cases that I experienced, that it could be really impactful. So I think coming up with some sort of communication strategy, working with the PR person, picked me. I have a lot of experience in this. Some sort of strategy around communications and doing it in a way that it can be digested, and maybe probably not all at once, perhaps probably multiple spoon-fed increments over time, especially if it's not a decision that needs to be made today.
Well, I've waxed on enough about AI. But I'm going to answer this question by saying the problem, you already have the problem. You're already facing. Okay, so your students have computers, laptops, whatever, I'm presuming. And I'm presuming also they have access to the internet. And I presume that they use a browser, probably Chrome, or something like that. That's AI. You do appreciate it. That's AI. So how are these students and how are these teachers managing Chrome? That is a challenge. And I'm not throwing anyone under the bus. Believe me, I'm not saying, oh, you're not exercising sufficient caution or whatever. This is sneaky. This is real sneaky. And so my proposed solution would be, first and foremost, let's talk about it. Let's bring this to a higher level of consciousness and put it in the foremost, in the frontal lobe, and be talking about how we're going to manage this flood of information and algorithmic information. Now again, I'm not going to use that word that I've already used too much. This is already here, folks. This is real now. And if you don't pay attention to it, it'll sneak up on you. And it'll have consequence that you didn't even see it happen. It's already having consequence that we don't recognize.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you guys. That is all the questions on our rubric here. And I'm sorry. What order here? Yes, so anyways, that concludes this. I am going to call for nominations. So appreciate two. Yes, sorry. Jumped ahead. I thought the nominations were great.
You want us to go to that desk or we stay here?
So let's see. You
Let's just throw the awkwardness.
We deliberate in open session. So now we're just open for deliberations. Do you guys have questions, clarifications? Okay.
I'd like to thank both of them.
Yeah, thank you guys both.
Really enlightening. Nice to meet you guys. Good luck.
I think it's a lot to sit right in front of us like this and answer all the
I
questions.
agree, it's better than looking this way.
Yeah.
I already told you I like to see people.
Yeah, that's right.
So it didn't bother me.
Yeah, our last vacancy, we had somebody interviewing remotely. So sitting in your seat remotely
Yeah.
was different.
Yeah.
So,
You can appreciate that. Yeah. That is.
I think
and I
that,
appreciate we have two great people.
yep, both very well qualified for this role. And again, it's fantastic that we have people that are willing to step up and have a reason for doing it. So thank you for that. All right, hearing no deliberation, I'd like to call for nominations. Any members wishing to nominate?
I'd like to nominate Rochelle Hutchins.
Okay, Rochelle Hutchins up first. All in favor of Rochelle Hutchins for the position?
Point of order, would you like to call for other nominations?
Oh, I'm sorry, that we did one at a time. Other nominations, yes. We have other nominations for the role of trustee. Okay. Well, that being the case, Rochelle being nominated, no other nominations, we still need to have a roll call vote. Yes, roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote, trustee Wade?
Aye. Here. Present.
Trustee Holly Williams? Aye. Trustee Demers?
Aye.
Chair Williams?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Motion carries.
Well, there you go. Congratulations.
Thank you both.
Yep, thank you.
So we will be in contact with you guys. The official onboarding will take place, and the swearing in will be at the May 12th board meeting. Thank you again, both of you, for stepping up for the interview. We look forward to working with you, Rochelle.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. I swear I'm not getting tired. Next up, we have Resolution 2603, school closure. I will entertain a motion for, this is, just so everybody's aware, but we have to ratify the closure of school, certificate of closure. I'll entertain a motion for that.
I make a motion to adopt resolution 26-03 school closure.
I second.
We have a second, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
That motion passes, thank you. Now we're going to move on to second reading of policy. We have 5402, sick leave. And again, just one major revision in this policy. You're retired. Yeah. Any questions on this policy? Okay.
No.
Motion.
I make a motion to adopt the revisions to policy 5402 sick leave.
Second.
Okay. Any deliberation? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
That motion passes. All right, next up, we have administrative announcements. Administrators.
Go before
1
Colleen
minute.
brings out the props.
Oh.
She's been waiting all night. So just from Southside, congratulations, Rochelle.
Thank you.
So really at Southside, it's last quarter. Things are moving so fast as we wrap up the school year. So we're starting ISAT testing this week. So just maintaining that balance of focus on academic achievement, helping our students show what they know and they've learned, and then also balancing that with just community engagement. So we, in March, we had our wax museum that families got to come into. It was fantastic. Great article in the paper. So I want to do a shout out to Shelby Struess for helping coordinate that as our community relations liaison. And then we just got some upcoming things coming up, like our Donuts for Dad, our pie, our partners in the partners
Donuts
in
for Dad.
Donuts for Dads. We're bringing dads in. But
Awesome.
and then family movie night, and that's under the great leadership of Rochelle as our president for our
parent organization, so thank you again, Rochelle. So yeah, we're just sprinting towards the end, and there's a lot to do and not enough time to do it. We're gonna get it done.
Okay, great work, thank you. Thank you. All right.
Okay, I'll go. I'm really fast because I only brought 3 props. Speaking of sprinting, it's currently, I'm starting to. Sprinting, we are currently starting jogging club, and at Northside Jogging Club is a pretty big deal. Outside supervision is super easy now because they all just run in circles. So you just stand there and you just watch them, and it's really a joy. It's also our booster fund. Started just a little while ago, and our PTO, our community has raised a ton of money already for our PTO, and with the vision of maybe going out and getting some new playground equipment. So we're really excited about that. Lastly, one of our 3rd grade teachers applied for a grant with Underground Kindness, thank you, and earned it. And so we, in a couple weeks, not we, but our 3rd grades are going to come together and they're going to go to the grocery store. And each group of kids is going to have $100 in their pocket, not literally, like it'll be a check made out to the grocery store. And they will get to pick out canned goods and food and things like that for our food bank. And then they will get to purchase it themselves in their groups, put it in their bags, and take it straight over to the food bank. So we're really, really happy for that opportunity, and I'm excited.
Heard lots of whining last night at soccer practice.
Really, I'm tired of a jogging club.
So much
They're back in work.
Yeah. I'll be in shape, buddy.
That's
Did
right.
you give the child back his shoe though? And
Yeah.
so he has to-
Format.
I'll give the child back her shoe tomorrow morning so she can continue. Thank you for that time.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
Jackie,
Like-
you had the podium all full.
Yeah,
I'm not done. Local scholarships were turned in on Friday, and we think it's close to a bazillion.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's a lot. So we're looking forward to sharing with you some specific details, but there were, stacks and boxes, so that's super exciting. We have SATs, 2 rounds that we're doing on Friday. So how do you use a Flex Friday? You have the students come in even though they may have the Flex is going to get SAT. So that's exciting. But we are really close to wrapping up our ISATs. ELA, 81% coming in above where we landed last year, and science, 64% again above where we landed last year. So we are super excited. Anything else?
It's all you.
Second.
Yes.
I did, okay.
Yes.
Chris Davis, I'm at LPO. Obviously, there's a lot of emotion going on with our amazing little school. And so we're trying really hard in the last month in particular to just showcase some of the amazing things that we do have going on. Shelby already left, but I wanted to really do huge shout out props to that amazing woman. She comes over every single Tuesday and Thursday for 20 minutes and meets with our culture club, which is our student leadership, and we have freshmen all the way through senior that are represented on this little committee, if you will. And they decided to take a multimedia sort of presence. So they're crafting a pretty cool project for me. It's kind of a hush-hush, something for our staff, for staff appreciation, but it's going to be pretty incredible. And our kids are just really, they're shining, and they're wanting to find ways, to, like I said, showcase what we are doing, not just academically, but also in the community. One of our young ladies is, her heart is going out to Dr. Meyer right now, and she said, when she's feeling better, I would really love to sit down and do an interview, a day in the life of Dr. Meyer, superintendent. And so it's just really neat to listen to their ideas, and that despite challenges, we're able to also find some really sweet, awesome spots. We too just started ISATs today. We're working in Gen Majors, actually, and I don't know if you created it or you borrowed it, but it's the effort rubric. So even our juniors are kind of rating themselves on how they're performing on the tests, and then the proctors are obviously giving their input, and those folks who score a 3 or 4 on the rubric are they're choosing their incentive. Right now it's kind of a tie between triple play and bowling. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm excited to take them and so on. And so, yeah. All things healthy.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll do mine real quick, but I didn't bring a shoe. Kootenai has lots of exciting things going on too. It is also our booster-thon and our jogging club. And so we will be starting our ISOTs in 2 weeks. We are currently raising funds for installation of our outdoor structure. We purchased it. It was $37,000 that we had raised prior. And so the outdoor structure is $24,000 to install. The hope is to earn that and get that installed the end of July, beginning of August. And then also to piggyback on Jackie just a little bit, we received 12 of your scholarship applications. And so we will be going through those. Those are from students who attended Kootenai Elementary, and we will be giving 5 $500 scholarships to 5 of those 12.
That's awesome. All right.
I mean, Sagel is here too, but I already wait. I think tonight that I want you guys to be able to explain that I will tell you some good things. Thank you for having us earlier. That was really cool. So some of the 2 things that I kind of want to brag the most about is we went from improving our student-led conference attendance from like 70% attendance of parents to 90% this year. And one of the cool things was like we really upped our game on like publicizing how cool our school is. And so our 6th grade ambassadors made some videos this year and was asking their parents to come, and I think that was really helpful. And then our admin team's really strong, and we share a lot of our great ideas. And so one of the ideas that I gleaned from another principal was stay and play. So our school just started Friday Stay and Play, where the weather's starting to get good and the parents are invited to stay and hang out and play on the playground. And we had our first one on Friday, and we had 15 families, and it was really fun to see them all just kind of running around, hanging out, and all the parents talking. So those are some stable friends. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, hearing no other announcements, we'll move on. I'll entertain a motion to enter executive session. Whoever feels like a strong reader tonight, go ahead.
You going?
I don't have my glasses on.
I have to take mine off. I'll do it. I make a motion to move into executive session as provided for in Idaho Code Title 74, Section 206, subsection 1B, to consider the evaluation, dismissal, or disciplining of, or to hear complaints or charges brought against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual agent, or public school student.
Thank you. All in favor, do we need roll call? Sorry. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee
Aye.
White? Trustee Rose? Aye. Trustee DeBrusk?
Aye.
Chair Woodville?
Aye. All right. Go home.